Hello, everybody, and welcome to PublishDrive Author Hour. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Danica Favorite. I'm the community manager at PublishDrive. And today I'm really excited to be coming to you from Budapest, where our company is headquartered with our CEO and founder, Kinga. Kinga, why don't you introduce yourself and tell everybody about yourself and what you do for PublishDrive?
So hi everyone, my name is Kinga and I'm the CEO and co-founder of PublishDrive, as Danica mentioned. I started PublishDrive with the vision to help authors and independent publishers succeed in their publishing journey. And actually I started with the idea that I wanted to publish my master thesis, and that's how the whole idea of PublishDrive came to birth, because we could see that it's a really painful process to get your book published. There are so many nuances that you can actually just screw up. And of course, at that time, there were way less options than today. And when I finally published my master thesis, which was a very niche topic, it was about how music can influence a country image. A lot of people were buying it from the US, Brazil, Mexico. I was like, okay, if that kind of book, which is more like a master thesis, is interesting for people, I'm sure there are so many other storytellers around the world that could succeed way better. So that was the main vision, that we wanted to actually help other creators get more successful in this area.
I love that because I think that it just shows your passion for getting stories out and helping storytellers make their stories available to as many people as possible. And I know that is part of PublishDrive's mission is to be as wide as we possibly can. And of all of the distributors, we have the widest distribution audience, which is wonderful. How have you seen this grow over the years? Because PublishDrive is now 11 years old, around for 11 years.
Yes.
And so what has that change over the past 11 years looked like to you?
Yeah, a lot, for sure. And also the industry changed a lot. But our company started with some kind of different targeting as well. So in the very beginning, as we came from Hungary, we started to actually work with Hungarian publishers first, because we also were new in the industry. So we wanted to learn more about the professionals who were doing it for many decades already. And then we actually had a closed platform in the beginning. So we invited publishers to work with us, and then we started to open it up. It was very exciting when we first launched the platform openly, because then people from Romania, the States, from the UK, and from other parts of the world just found us and they started to publish with us. But we also could see that yes, we have the global aspect in our DNA from day one, in that sense, but in some cases we weren't prepared for that. So we needed to learn that as well, how to run a global business, how to partner with global partners, how to scale it up as well, especially with independent authors. So we learned a lot about that as well in the beginning, because as I mentioned, we started to work with publishers first. And then we introduced a lot of new features within the platform, which included the different ethical tools. Then we also expanded our distribution reach, which was a very long process as well for many of the distribution channels we work with. We currently can distribute titles to, of course, the US, but also to Germany, and to other parts of the world, like Romania, for instance, or Hungary included. And yes, our team has grown as well. So in the beginning, we just started like the three of us basically, and then we expanded, and now we have 27 people on board, and I'm really happy that we can actually work with Danica, for instance, but also with other team members as well from different countries. So that really shows that we are really global in that sense, and we want to actually help authors and independent publishers globally within our team as well. And yeah, I think the last couple of years has been exciting in terms of how the industry has been changing. And I think this is a good news for the industry, and it changes for the good. Of course, there are challenges, and maybe we will tap into that as well later. But I think it really helps, especially within the publishing journey, to make it more effective and make sure that the stories can reach the readers in a better way and faster way.
Yeah, and part of that really good news that you have is the beginning of this year, you put together a publishing report with our data from 2025. And there were some really exciting findings I know we were all excited about. Why don't you share some of the highlights of that report and the data that has you excited for the future of publishing?
Yeah. So one of the things that was really interesting for us that the print on demand market was growing a lot. So we could see that 75% increase compared to the previous year, which was huge. And also we could see that a lot of different genres becoming more popular as well, like the mysteries and detective came into the top 5 genres. Meanwhile, it was way below in the previous years. So it's really exciting to see that not just romance and romantasy, which I love too, to be honest. And I really actually want to write a romantasy book. So I'm halfway through it. Hopefully, at some point, I can publish it. I know
Yay!
a platform to publish
I
it.
was about to say, I think we know someone who could publish that for you.
Yeah, that was definitely the second highlight. The mystery and other genres are coming into the highlight as well. And also, some countries were growing way faster than we thought, especially in Europe. So we could see a big boost in the German market, for instance, but also in Spain and France as well. It's really exciting. Well, we can see that most of our authors and publishers are coming from the US. So our US sales are really growing as well and very big part of our sales when it comes to book sales. However, it's exciting to see that so many other markets are actually getting stronger and stronger every year. And also it shows opportunity for authors and publishers worldwide.
Yeah, I think that's so exciting. Like you, when I was looking at the report and I've shared the report with others, I've just seen so many really interesting trends and things where I just see so much opportunity that is out there for everyone. Is there a missed opportunity that you think people aren't taking advantage of and they should?
That's a good question. I think there are a lot of opportunities for sure. One thing is that if the German market is booming so much, then looking at maybe translations into a German market, that could be obviously the next step for an author who already published, who already has multiple formats as well. So this is definitely not for a new author, I would say. But if someone has a publishing business and it's running well, I would say that it's a very important next step to think about where they can expand into different countries and translations as well. There are a lot of tools that can actually help with that today. Probably another opportunity that could be taken into account audiobooks because everyone is talking about that, and AI narration because AI narration helps to get to market faster, which I know that especially within the traditional industry, a lot of publishers they don't want to do AI narration at the scale. However, I think especially for authors, it's really an important step because it lowers the barriers of entry for the audiobook market, which is growing rapidly every year and also tapping into a new segment of potential listeners in that case. And also people can sell on Spotify, which obviously widens the potential market. And so I would definitely take a look at these options. We also have AI narration partners partnering with 11 Labs in their own store, 11 Reader, Apple with their digital narration program. So you can actually have your ebook turned into audiobook on these specific platforms.
Yeah, I think that this is such a great way to make things like audiobooks accessible. Why don't you speak a little bit about AI and how PublishDrive approaches AI?
Yeah. So I have to have a disclaimer here. We are a pro AI company because we believe that the ethical usage of AI is actually helping the industry to grow further and go to the next stage of development as well. And when we look at other creative industries, even music and the others, we can see that AI is becoming even a bigger thing there as well. So we definitely need to learn how to use AI in an ethical way. And we actually introduced a few features that are AI powered. We call it the publishing assistant, and it helps with the metadata optimization. If you have a backlist, for instance, or you want to have a new book tested out, whether it's actually could be marketed better with different kind of metadata, then you can just upload the book and then select what kind of metadata you want to have suggested by AI, which is based on the market trends that we can see on Amazon, but also based on the content itself. So it's not just random trends and things that are actually not relevant to the readers, because that's important that it's connected to your books and it's not just a buzzword. And next to it, we also developed an AI cover generator which helps to create even the concept of the cover or the final cover actually as well for ebooks and audiobooks. So if you just upload your content, then it will actually help you find the best concepts for your cover first, and then you can fine tune it based on your prompts and based on market trends as well. And I think when it comes to AI, there is still a lot to do. And there will European AI Acts coming into effect in August as well to make it more transparent how AI is being used. And I think when it comes to the European markets in general, so we also developed a lot of help in terms of getting all books accessible throughout our platform. So it's instantly, whatever you publish on PublishDrive, it will actually comply with the EU legislations in regards to the Accessibility Act, which is also important if you want to move into the European markets as well.
So I like how you were talking about the EU Accessibility Act and everything, because it just shows that you're staying on top of where the legislation is going and making sure that we as a company are in compliance with the law, and we help our customers stay in compliance with the law. So one of the things that I want to ask you, because I always give this disclaimer, and I think it would be great for people to hear it from the CEO, is do we use people's material to train AI?
No.
That's right.
It's
Yes.
within our policies as well, everywhere, even on our knowledge base and everything, that we never use publishers' materials to train AI because it would not be an ethical use of AI, at least in our understanding. So that's definitely an important thing to highlight.
You're welcome. I always like to highlight that because I know people do have fears around AI. Some of them are justified, and that's why we really take it very seriously in how we treat people's data and their information, and how, again, you have been talking the ethical use of AI.
Yeah.
And so that's really important to us. I just wanted to make sure we got to highlight that point.
Yeah. And about the EU Accessibility Act, I think it's also important to highlight that with that in mind, the authors and publishers can reach actually more readers. So that's also very important. And when I went to the Bologna Book Fair a couple of weeks ago, and I actually met a big publisher from Mexico, she actually mentioned this accessibility is a big issue in their country, and there is no legal act about it. So no one is actually taking care about it, and really disadvantages for the people who have disabilities. So I really think that's a really important thing to have as a vision if you are publishing, to reach as many possible readers, and not just in countries or in different formats, but even people with disabilities.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I know people have heard me talk on the podcast a lot about how important we think accessibility is to everyone. And what I love about PublishDrive is that with the EU Accessibility Act, you don't have to do anything special with your book to make it compliant when you're using PublishDrive, because we take care of that for you. And I was really pleased to find out that was just something we automatically are doing. And it isn't another additional burden for the authors. So I
Yeah.
think that was really a great move on our part, but of course, I am a little biased.
Yeah.
Oh, so you were just talking about how you're at the Bologna Book Fair. Are there any upcoming trends or things that you thought were really exciting that you learned there, or things that you think authors and publishers should be looking out for or looking forward to, or maybe even moving their business towards?
Yeah, so the Bologna Book Fair is traditionally very print and children focused. So I was actually trying out different children books. I actually have a 2.5-year-old. I was hunting some books for him, to be honest. And also, there were so many exciting things as well, because when it comes to publishing, what I can see that publishing is becoming more as a subsection of the creative industry. So more creative industries like gaming and like movies and everything is coming into the publishing industry as well. And they are actually getting together. And I really like that kind of effect. And in this Bologna book fair, I could definitely see that more and more of these cross media companies were representing. And also the trends were about how you can actually handle your IP as an original IP, and whatever format, whatever media it can come out of it, you have to make sure that the original IP is protected and it's yours, and then you can actually use it with very creative asset and thinking for any kind of cross media projects as well.
Yeah, I think that's really important for people to understand is you've written a book, you have a book, but that actually is a piece of IP that can be used in many different formats, in many different ways, and it can be multiple streams of income. So it's yes, it's one book, but it can make you money in lots and lots of different ways. And for those of you who were watching one of our previous episodes with Jill Cooper, she was talking about all the different ways that she and her wife, Mallory, have turned their IP into multiple sources of income. And so I think this is a growing trend we're just going to keep seeing more and more of. So if you didn't watch that episode, go back and watch that episode. We'll have that linked for you to take a look at because it's a really great topic.
And even I think the founder of the publisher, female publishing leaders, the founder of Publisher actually mentioned that she also has a fashion brand and how it could be actually connected to publishing is actually a very exciting next move. So I really think that just think about anything when it comes to your IP and then any kind of creative industry, how it can be connected. Because today, I think most of these cross media projects are getting more popular and also it gives, as you mentioned, more income streams as well.
Yeah, exactly. And so earlier you were talking about the different challenges that were happening in the industry. What are some of the biggest challenges that you see? And how do you see us as PublishDrive being able to fill that gap to help solve some of those problems?
Yeah. So one of the biggest thing I think when it comes to that actually needs some kind of intervention, I would say, is how AI is scaling the fraud and fraudulent activities and scamming and also copyright infringement issues, especially with an open platform like ours. So we could see a bigger influx of books that might be very similar to other best-selling titles and infringing copyrights. So that is a big issue within the whole industry. So it's not just us, it's actually Amazon. As you can see, they included or they introduced limitations how many books you can upload. And also, when I talk to other different partners, they share the same challenges that, okay, what do you guys do for fraud and how can you prevent it? So we started to work with different partners like Apple and so on to make sure that we can actually implement those kind of measurements that actually protects the integrity of our catalog and also the IP of our users as well, because that's really important. So that's definitely one thing that we are working hard. It's also changing every day. So you can imagine when creativity is in the line, this segment is getting way more creative every day, figuring out how to actually trick the system and how to get more money basically easily in their pocket. Again, when I talked to one of the big publishers from Mexico at Bologna Book Fair, they shared that actually this is a big issue even in their country for print books. So it's not just for ebooks or audio or for any other content, but for printed books. So they actually could see that people were reading their books on the metro but it was with different cover and with different things as well, and they could see that okay, this is actually a copycat of their book but they are the original publisher. So it's a really big, I would say, challenge that the industry should solve together. So it's not just on one particular company, it's more like how new standards can be actually created for this to make sure that we can protect the integrity of the copyright owners and everything.
Yeah, and I really do that you are actively having conversations with different partners, different people in the industry to see how we can work together to solve it because we can't just say, okay, we're not going to accept any books from these people or this region or these, all of those things that I know we've had those discussions of, okay, we see fraud coming from this area or that area, but not everyone in a particular area is fraudulent. And so it's also about having that balance between still allowing people with good intentions who have good stories to tell, going back to your original intention with allowing people to get their stories throughout the world. And I really appreciate that you are so thoughtful in how you're approaching it. And it's not just, oh no, we have all these bad actors, let's shut the platform down or let's make it harder for people to publish books. It's okay, let's continue making it as easy as possible and let's protect against fraudulent books. Yeah, no, I think we did good. I think we got a lot of the major high points. I think that was really interesting. Just again, understanding that fraud is a problem across the industry. Every partner is seeing it. It's everywhere. And again, we're doing what we can to still make book publishing accessible for everybody. And that's what I really appreciate about PublishDrive and what I love about working with PublishDrive is that we really do want to get as many stories out into the world as we possibly can. As we wrap up today, are there any final thoughts or some final words of wisdom that you want to send to our audience and to share with them about PublishDrive? Hey, why should we use PublishDrive?
Yeah, if you have a manuscript ready and you want to actually publish wide, PublishDrive is one of your best choices because you can just come up to the platform and then you can start publishing it. And especially if you run a publishing business, our business model is really good for you because you pay a subscription fee, a flat fee per month or annually instead of giving up your revenue. So that's working for many publishers who actually are running a really good publishing business or even for pro authors who actually are selling a lot. That's something that you can definitely check out. And yes, we actually have a good team of people on our support as well, and they are very helpful if you have any issues. We also work with publishers on a customer success level. So we have a customer success manager as well who you can reach out to if you have any problems. That's one of the most important things we believe in to make sure that we can be as approachable as possible and making sure that we can help you to get to the next stage. And that's what we are working on to make it even easier because it's a never ending job, I think. So there is always something to do. So if you have any feedback, we are also very happy to hear that and make sure that we can act on them.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really love being out here and recording this with you today. When I knew I was coming to Budapest for our team meetings, I said to Kinga, hey, while we're together, let's do an interview for our YouTube channel. And she said, yes, great. Let's go outside. And I'm like, okay. And so here we are in this beautiful park. And so I hope you enjoy this beautiful park view of Budapest. It's so lovely here. I just love getting to be here and enjoying this beautiful scenery. And so, if you have any further questions, if there's anything we didn't cover, or you have additional questions that you want us to address in a future episode, please let me know. Leave a comment, say hello to Kinga. And if you have more questions for Kinga, I know she will be happy to come back. We may not get to be in this beautiful park setting again, but we'll definitely have her back and we can chat more. So, until next time, take care, and we'll talk to you soon.
Take care. Bye.